How many Super Bowls could Shedeur Sanders win as a New York Giant? In year 3, he went for 4,800 yards, 43 touchdowns, won the first Super Bowl of his career, and finished 6th in MVP voting. We've completely turned around the Giants franchise. He has 100% been the leading factor. We're only headed into year 5, and last season we had a top 5 defense and an electric offense that finished 1st in passing yards in the league. By the end of this all, the biggest question for us is going to be, will Shedeur Sanders make it into the Hall of Fame? Let's find out. Let's continue this rebuild. We're heading into year 5 free agency. If you want to catch up on the whole series, I will link part 1 and part 2 in the description. Shedeur Sanders heading into year 4. We're just coming off a Super Bowl win. 88 X Factor. We got him playing up to a 95. Dots, comeback, quick draw, closer, and clutch. So an interesting set of abilities, but I feel like kind of suits him a little bit. He may go down as one of the most clutch quarterbacks in history. Tyrone Tracy playing at an 86. We got Malik Nabers, 94. 98 Von Harbor X Factor. We got Andrew Thomas, Runyon, Brailsford, Green, and Campbell. We actually had Joe Tooney here for last season. Helped us win a Super Bowl. Could be a spot we look to improve, but this O-line's looking pretty good already. We got Gadsden and Mahone on tight end. Josh Selvey heading into his 3rd year. Superstar X Factor, 91 overall. Brian Burns, 92 X Factor. 2nd year Burton playing at an 80. McFadden, 83. Thibodeau, 86. We had Tyler Newman over at safety. We're going to look to bring him back in free agency. We got Shedeur Sanders off the book this year, so we're going to have to save some money to pay him. Denzel Burke up at an 87 with Flott in 86. Banks, 79, and Hughes, 74. We had Grady Jarrett at right end. He's gone this year. We got Dexter Lawrence and Adafe Owe. Defense still looking very solid. I don't think we have any holes to fill on offense. We have a ton of money. So some top free agents. We got Jameer Gibbs, 95 overall, 26. That's pretty interesting. Terrion Arnold, 26, 88 overall. Kenyon Mitchell. Got Jack Campbell, Javon Bullard, William McNeil. Pretty good free agency class here. Free agency recap. We signed Terrion Arnold, Javon Bullard, Taylor Decker, Hollywood Brown, and Rashawn Gary. We didn't need to add much to this roster right now, but we had a shit ton of money, so just kind of spend it. Taylor Decker moving over to left guard for us. Slight improvement over Runyon. We just added Marquise Brown for depth at receiver. Just one more guy for Sanders to look at. Defensively, we lose Newman, but we actually end up upgrading that position to Bullard. We had a veteran up front to replace Grady Jarrett. We get Rashawn Gary. Our secondary has always been a strength. Never this talented, though. Bullard, Selvey, Burke, Flott, and Terrion Arnold now. So this should be a top 5 unit once again. Not our best draft, picking at 32. Our first pick, a linebacker, 73 overall, hidden dev. Potential future starter for the team. Hidden dev tight end, 74 overall, round 2. Round 3, we picked the fastest player in the draft, 99 speed, Curtis Mann. Hopefully he's a kick return specialist. That's kind of what we're trying to get. Round 6, the computer picks a 73 overall normal dev receiver. Kind of a big body. See how he could develop. Defense definitely a strength for us. Lots of playmakers. Let's get into the season. Let's see what happens. Overall down sitting at 86, 85 offense, 89 defense. So defense for sure is our strength this year. Let's advance to mid-season, see what our record is at. All right, y'all, mid-season point, we're 3-4. Maybe a little bit of a Super Bowl hangover here. We are on a 2-game win streak though, so hopefully we can bounce it back. Got Sanders up for contract. We're gonna try to lock him up. Wants about 40 mil a year. We'll see if we could lock him in for 7 years. He rejects it. All right, Will Campbell, definitely a guy we want to lock up. Wants about 25 mil a year. So we got Will Campbell back. I would sign that for like 6 years. So Denzel Burke's locked. So another loss to the Cowboys, kind of falling apart this year. And this is our biggest task right now. Offer him over 40. Okay, so we lock up Shedeur. Leaves us with 34 mil. It's going to be tough to get these 3 back. Might just save the money and see kind of where we're at when free agency comes, see what the team needs are. All right, so we're going all in. We're 3-5. Desperate attempt here. I feel like we're kind of lacking at running back right now, so we're going to trade both of ours. We're going to pick up Devon Achane. Good young right guard and a good young right end. All kind of positions of need for us right now. And we throw in Tyrone Tracy, Marrow, a first, a second, and a third. We're going all in on the year. Hopefully we can bounce back with that, and let's see what happens. Add a lot of speed with Achane. Wise, help boost up that O-line just a little bit more. And defensively, just up front. This team's got to turn it around, man. Too good of a roster to be 3-5. Looking at the overall, we are up to a 89, 87 offense, 92 defense. Let's see how it goes, guys. We were 3-5 at one point, end up making the playoffs with a 10-7 record. Pretty good back half for the team. 14th in offensive points per game, 8th in pass yards, 21st in rush yards. And the defense was stellar. 10th in points, 8th in pass yards, 3rd in rush yards. A little bit of regression from Shedeur Sanders. 4,300 yards, 30 touchdowns, 15 interceptions. Completion percentage still really good at 73. A-Chain finishes the year with 934 yards, 8 touchdowns. Shedeur adds 350 and 5 on the ground. Nabers 92, 1,206, big year for him. Hollywood Brown had a really great year. Harbor didn't have him in the slot. It was Hollywood in the slot, so very unfortunate. McFadden with a great year. Sacks, Owe had 18.5, Burns 12, Lawrence 9. Terry Arnold, huge pickup for us, 5 picks. Burke with 2, Bullard 1, and Banks 1. That's probably the least amount of picks we've had since starting this franchise. For playoffs this year, we're going to set it to all Madden, and I'm not playing games unless we make it to the Super Bowl. We got the Niners for the wildcard game. Let's see if we could take them down, and we will advance. We beat the Niners 42-21. Divisional matchup against the Panthers. They went 11-6. They were only an 85 overall. Looks like we should be favorites coming into this. Let's see if we can advance to the NFC Championship for the 2nd straight year. And we will. We beat the Panthers. So we get the Eagles, the 7-seed Eagles, and it's the Jets and Jaguars on the other side. We're once again looking like pretty heavy favorites coming into this game. Playing at home against the Eagles. Big time rivalry matchup. Hopefully we can get the win, guys. Let's see what happens. We will lose 31-24 to the Eagles as they'll go to the Super Bowl against the Jets. Mahomes gets MVP. JSN winning Offensive Player of the Year. We got Owe finishing 2nd in Defensive Player of the Year. Brian Burns on his contract year getting the best linebacker. And so our 2028 season, year 5, ends in a heartbreaking loss in the NFC Championship to our rivalry Eagles, who we beat down last year in the playoffs. Very disappointing. Hoping for a bounce back next year. We kind of struggled a bit to start out this season. Either way, the Jets win the Super Bowl, and it's going to be their first, I believe, since 1969. So pretty huge for them. Looks like Quinn Ewers is leading that group now. They finally got their quarterback. Exciting for the Jets. We will head into free agency with some holes to fill. Gonna need a center, most likely. Looks like it was revealed that Brackett, our rookie tight end, is actually a superstar dev. It's kind of a good thing that we let Gadsden walk away. Linebacker could be a position that we could look to upgrade. Otherwise, the defense still looking really nice. Top free agents this year, we got CeeDee Lamb, Isaiah Pacheco, Josh Hines Allen, Elton Jenkins, Brian Burns. Lots of aging players up top, not the most exciting class. So not many needs in free agency. We go after Connor Williams just to kind of be a stopgap at center for us. Isaiah Bond, a decent receiver, 97 speed, 98 acceleration. Love having that on the team. Caleb Johnson, the best power back available. So we boost the offense a bit. The defense, linebacking takes a little bit of a hit this year, but I think we're good enough to hold up. We'll be without Brian Burns, but we have some really good pass rushers as is. And we don't even have a top 3 pick this year, so I'm just going to skip the draft. Looks like the computer struggled a bit. We threw away those picks. We kind of figured this would be a throwaway draft. We head into year 6 with an 89 overall team, 89 offense, 91 defense. So Shedeur Sanders heading into year 5, playing up to a 94 overall X Factor. Von Harbor playing up to a 98 X Factor. Both these guys are primed for huge breakout seasons. Sanders has the best weapons and O-line in his entire career, so we're hoping for a massive season from him. We got Achan, halfback, 92 overall. Johnson as a power back, just to spell him. Achan still playing at a 96 speed, 94 excel, 92 agility. Isaiah Bond on the outside, 79 overall. He's also got electric speed. Avery on the other side, 2nd-year player. Solid receiver for a 4th option. Thomas Green, Williams, Wise, and Campbell make up the O-line. This is a pretty solid unit. 2nd-year Greg Brackett, 3rd stringer last year. Turns out to be a superstar dev, replacing Gadsden. Mahone, 2nd string. Defense takes a hit this year without Brian Burns. We got Josh Selvey, 92 X Factor. Smith, Burton, McFadden, playing more of that prototype linebacker type of role. Some depth there with Mason, Murray, and Minor. A very young group beside McFadden. Could be a position we look to upgrade closer to the trade deadline. Javon Bullard, 88 overall, he regresses to a star. Thibodeau on pass rush. Owe, Lawrence, and the unnamed youngster. So we subtract Brian Burns, but still some solid options to get after the quarterback. Get Terry and Arnold continuing to improve up to a 90 overall. Denzel Burke, pretty elite duo at corner. Flott, a beast of a third stringer. And Deontay Banks, 80 overall. Let's go mid-season. Mid-season, we are 4-2. Huge improvement from last year. Von Harbor. He wants about 36 mil a year. We're going to pay him what he wants. And he signs 36 mil a year. Josh Selvey, homegrown talent. He's a beast. He wants 25 mil per year. We're going to give it to him, man. He's just one of those players. It's turning into a win or bust year for us here. We're going to lose our 2 starting guards, our right end, another pass rushing linebacker in Thibodeau. Andrew Thomas off the books. He wants 30 mil a year. So we're pretty much losing our whole O-line. 2 pass rushers, second string tight end. And that's it. But we only have $12 million. I mean, we can't afford any of them. So we're going to lose a lot of pieces next year. I think we got to go all in on this season. Linebacker is probably the one spot we could use an upgrade. We're sending Micah McFadden, a first and a second, over to the Chiefs for Nick Bolton in an attempt to boost up our linebacking. This is a very balanced defense right now. Hopefully Bolton is that piece that we were missing to push us over the top. It's going to be a tricky regroup next year, but we're not thinking about that right now. We're thinking about trying to win a Super Bowl this year, and Nick Bolton, hopefully he really adds to what we got going here. We're 4-2 at the midseason point. Let's go playoffs, see how things go. All right, we finished the year 11-6 and we make the wild card. We'll go against the 9-8 Saints, play them at MetLife Stadium as a heavy favorite. Shedeur Sanders goes for 4,500 yards, 37 touchdowns, and 11 interceptions on a 73% completion. Really good year for Sanders, good bounce back. Achane going for 1,000 yards for the first time as a Giant, and he goes for 16 touchdowns. So great year for Achane. 369 and 4 on the ground for Sanders. Caleb Johnson able to punch it in twice. There it is, baby. Put him in the slot, and he bounces back on his contract year. 106 for 1,717 touchdowns for Von Harbor, averaging over 100 yards per game, bro. Huge year. Malik Nabers going for 99, 1,206. So elite duo, probably the best duo in the league. Bond with a respectable season, going for 7 touchdowns on 650 yards. Bracket, not too bad, 580 for 6. Bolton and Burton popping off a little bit. Both over 100 tackles. Lots of tackles for loss, lots of sacks and picks. Away with 10 sacks. Nick with 10 sacks. 9.5 for Dexter Lawrence. You got Bolton with 2 picks, Burke with 2, Selvey with 2, Arnold with 2, Flott with 2, Burton with 1, and Bullard with 1. So holy shit, our secondary is back, baby. That's a big year for them. Team-wise, 3rd in points per game, 3rd in pass yards, 8th in rush yards. Defensively, 8th in points per game, 10th in pass yards, 13th in rushing yards. Offense playing up quite a bit here heading into playoffs. Looking like a really solid unit here. Defense looking nice as well. This has to be our year. We're going to lose a lot of these players next year. All right, guys, wild card. As the Saints beat us 27-24, absolute heartbreaker. Hopefully we can regroup and bounce back next year. Caleb Williams winning MVP and beating out Von Harbor for Offensive Player of the Year. Marvin Harrison Jr. beating out Von Harbor for Best Receiver, even though Von Harbor finishes 2nd for Offensive Player of the Year. So potentially robbed of a couple awards this year, guys. We don't get any. Heartbreaking season. Jaguars get there first. They beat the Saints. The Saints make it to the Super Bowl. If we beat them, we might have had a good route to get there. Trevor Lawrence takes home the MVP. Tough season, guys. Hopefully we regroup. Yes, folks, it's heartbreaking in more than one way that we lose that. In the wild card round, we're looking at no O-line left, major pieces missing on defense, and regression from Dexter Lawrence. So we got all sorts of holes to fill. We got $40 million to spend. We're going to have to do some serious work here this offseason. But let's see what we can do, guys. Let's see if we can bounce back. Top free agents, Trent McDuffie, Matabuke, Green, Darisaw, Crosby, Tank Dell, Andrew Thomas, Nick Bolton. Free agency recap. Almost all our positions of need here. Get 26-year-old Tyler Smith, 87 overall X Factor to replace Brian Burns. Get him on for 5 years, about 20 mil a year. TJ Watt at 35 years old. We signed him for 2 years on a really good contract. Elada, Williams, and Haynes. Rounds 3 and 4, we go linebacker. We get a 72 normal dev, 71 hidden dev. Round 7, we get a 70 overall receiver. Year 7, Shedeur playing at a 94 overall X Factor, right around that 4,500 yard mark for the past 3 seasons. And 40 touchdowns, never not in question for him. He's put together a pretty good career so far. Devon Achane playing up to a 94 overall Superstar. Von Harbor up to a 99 overall X Factor. Age 26 season. It's only his 5th year in the league. Got Malik Nabers playing up to a 96 Superstar. Isaiah Bond at an 81 and Avery at a 76. O-line looking better than I thought it would this year. Only remaining player from last year is Will Campbell. We got Will Campbell, we got Paul, Williams, Haynes, and Mailata. We got Brackett as Superstar Dev and Whitfield at tight end. Salvi 93 X Factor, Shelton Smith 80, Minor 77, Burton 81. Signed TJ Watt in 85. Javon Bullard 88, Denzel Burke 88, Tyrion Arnold 91, Flott 84. Secondary still looking very nice. Signed Tyler Smith, 20 mil a year, move him to right end, 88 overall X Factor. Dexter Lawrence down to a 92 Superstar, and Adafe Owe at an 86 star. So both our offense and defense taking a step backwards this year, but you can't take away from the fact that we got Shedeur Sanders at the highest overall he's ever been, with the best weapons he's ever had. These three have just continued to develop together throughout their careers. And Achane is now up to a 94 overall. This offense should continue to be extremely efficient. All right, guys, let's go to midseason. All right, midseason, we are 3-3. Contracts-wise, we signed back Tyrion Arnold for a year. We're going a similar route to last year. Pretty much capped out for cap space, but we get 29-year-old Adrian Cooper at 90 overall. Swap first-round picks. Give up Burton and Minor. Will be free agents at the end of the season. 2nd, a 3rd, and a 5th. And here's how the defense is stacking up like an elite unit once again. We're 3-3. We made an upgrade. We should easily be able to make playoffs. Let's see how it goes. We make it to the wild card with an 11-6 record. We'll be facing off against the 11-6 Packers in Lambeau Field. Looks like we will still be the favorites heading into the matchup. Finished the year 20th in points per game, 11th in pass yards, 9th in rush yards. Defensively, 7th in points per game, 1st in pass yards, 19th in rush yards. Shedeur Sanders finishes with 4,200 yards, 30 touchdowns, and 9 interceptions. Achane goes for 1150 and 10 touchdowns. Shedeur adding 274 and a touchdown on the ground. Von Harbor, 89 receptions, 1,400 yards, 14 touchdowns. Another great year. Nabers goes 98, 1,109. Isaiah Bond, 765, 3 touchdowns. Brackett, 546 and 3 touchdowns. Cooper leading the team in tackles. 12 sacks for Owe, 12 sacks for Smith, 9 for Lawrence. Arnold, 2 picks. Cooper 1, Burke 1, Banks 1. See if we can win this wild card game. We take down the Packers. We'll go against the 12-5 Commanders in the divisional round. See if we can get the dub. And we lose to the Commanders. 21-16 is your final. Joe Burrow getting MVP. Jalen Hurts, Offensive Player of the Year. No awards this year. So the Commanders end up going on to win the Super Bowl after taking us out. Their 4th Super Bowl. Jahmyr Gibbs getting the MVP. Things continuing to get harder. Free agency, we lose Achane, Dexter Lawrence, Dafe Owe, TJ Watt. Nabers regresses to a star dev. Lots of holes to fill. And we only got about $30 million to spend in free agency. Free agency recap. No big moves. More or less just trying to fill out the roster a bit. Left guard Jackson. Left tackle Spencer Davis at tackle. He's replacing Dexter Lawrence. Dylan Sampson replacing Devon Achane. You got Moach, Roquan Smith, and Sanders. Not a great free agency, but we didn't have much money this year. Tried to get Achane back. Couldn't get him to sign. The Raiders just had a crazy deal set out for him. A draft recap, 1st round pick, 75 overall middle linebacker, Bobby Woodard, 21 years old, hidden dev. 6th round, computer takes the wide receiver, 98 speed, 97 excel, 98 agility, freak athlete right here. Year 8, team starting to regress as a whole. We're kind of low on money right now, so just doing the best we can. Sanders at a 96 X Factor going into his year 7 season. Has 1 Super Bowl to his name. We're hoping to get him number 2 this year. We've made the playoffs 4 years in a row. We won the Super Bowl, lost in the NFC Championship the next year. Year 6, we lose in the wild card, and last year we lose in the divisional. And this is the worst the team's looked in a while. Chances are starting to get a little more slim of us making it back to the Super Bowl. But we'll see what we can do this year. Still pretty elite weapons on offense, elite quarterback. We got Samson, Von Harbor, 99 X Factor, Malik Nabers, star, 97. Year 8 for Nabers. He's 28 years old now. Avery, 77. Bond, 83. O-line is actually looking really solid this year. Campbell, Spencer, Williams, Jackson, Mailata. You got 93, 87, 83, 84, 86. So solid O-line. I feel like this offense isn't too bad on paper. Bracket, 86 superstar. Sanders at an 80. Josh Selvey, 95 X Factor. Our pass rush will be our biggest fall this year. Last year we had an elite unit. This year we're taking a huge step backwards. Tyler Smith, the only elite option. Cooper, 91. Ramsey, 78, his second year. 76 Woodard. Linebackers are not too bad. The secondary is where we make our money. Bullard, 87. Denzel Burke, 89. Terrion Arnold, 90. Flott, 85. Banks, 76. Wheeler, 76. So major steps backwards, but let's see how this team performs this season. Going in, we were an 87 overall, 88 offense, 87 defense. Okay, mid-season. 3-4 at mid-season. We're going to look to make a trade. We're going to pick up Ollie Gordon at 94 overall, superstar X Factor, running back. James Pierce at right end. Give up Caleb Johnson, Jeffrey Simmons, Deontay Banks, 2 firsts and a second. Let's see if it's enough to get us into the playoffs, guys. That trade did boost our team. We make it into the wild card. Finish the year 10-7. We'll go against the 9-8 Falcons. Shedeur Sanders finishing the year with 4,300 yards, 39 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, 72%. Another good season. Ollie Gordon goes for 1,200 yards, 12 touchdowns. Sanders adds 300 yards and a touchdown on the ground. Von Harbor with 85, 1,624. Another massive year for him. Should be able to win another Offensive Player of the Year with 24 touchdowns. Malik Nabers cracks 100 receptions, 1,100 yards, 5 touchdowns. In my opinion, he should bounce back to a superstar. Like, he has not had a down season once in his career, so I don't see why he's regressing. Bracket, 645 and 3 touchdowns. He's probably gone this offseason. I just don't see a point in spending a ton of money on a tight end. Isaiah Bond, almost 500 yards, 5 touchdowns. Ollie Gordon adding 3 touchdowns through the air. Adrian Cooper, 125 tackles. Sacks, it's Pierce with 11. Smith with 7.5. Woodard with 5.5. Good job for him. Davis, 5.5. Fiske, 5.5. Picks, Burke gets 5. Cooper, 3. Arnold, 3. Bullard, 1. Ramsey, 1. We were 4th in points per game, 8th in pass yards, 13th in rush yards. Defensively, 13th in points per game, 19th pass yards, 12th for rush yards. Let's simulate the wildcard week. Hopefully we get the dub, guys. We will advance to the divisional round and face off against the 11-6 Dallas Cowboys. Got a rivalry game. And by the way, guys, this is our 5th straight year making the playoffs. Won the Super Bowl in year 4. We are now in year 8, hoping to get back to the promised land. See if we could do it against the Cowboys, guys. Fingers crossed. Try to get back to the NFC Championship game for the first time in 3 years. And we lose, guys. Cowboys beat us 28-22. They'll advance against the Commanders in the conference game. Back to the drawing board. Caleb Williams winning MVP. Sanders finishing 10th in MVP voting. And Von Harbor is able to get his 2nd career Offensive Player of the Year after a 24 touchdown season. Should be his 3rd, but he got robbed, as we all know, last season. Very unlucky here. Woodard finishes 2nd in Rookie of the Year. Von Harbor wins Best Receiver. Denzel Burke finishing 2nd in Best DB. And Ollie Gordon finishing 2nd in Best Running Back. As the Commanders are unable to go back-to-back, the Browns take them out 21-18 for their first ever Super Bowl. Mike Hall Jr. getting the MVP. And if you've made it this far in the video, thank you so much. I truly appreciate it. Just those of you that make it this far into the video means you watched the whole thing, and that means a lot to me. Hope you're enjoying the content. We will continue to do series like this on this channel. In the description, I'll keep all the other parts of the videos, and there'll be other similar series in my channel as well, if you're interested in checking them out. Not the most successful video today. 4 years, no Super Bowls, but we have made the playoffs in 5 straight seasons now. Still have tons of talent on the roster. Let's head into free agency next week. Try to boost this roster back up. Go on another run with Shedeur. He's still got some solid years left in him. Sitting at a 97 overall X Factor right now at 30 years old. We got to get him at least 1 or 2 more Super Bowls. But we will continue on next week. See if we can power through the rest of his career. Play it out. See if he makes the Hall of Fame. See how many Super Bowls he finishes with. See overall just how successful this Giants franchise rebuild turns out. Thank you guys, and see you in the next video.